Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing today? Hey, this is Gregory Wiles coming live to you from Houston, Texas with this inspirational morning walk. First time listeners, I just get some exercise in the mornings and I share my thoughts with you guys, whatever I'm inspired to talk about that day. So, guys, today it's a rainy day in Houston. It's a rainy day, so I can just walk around this basketball gym and I get some exercise that way, outside walking today because it's a very rainy day here. Rain that we much needed, the rain though. Anyhow, so quick recap. I got some material to cover today, so I want to get into it a little early. But remember, we're doing about today, we're going to be talking about the life of Jacob. We're talking about how this guy, his uncle, selfishness, forced him to marry one of his daughters that he never really loved, Leah, but he did really work 7 years for Rachel. And when the time come, he tell him he got to take Leah because the older daughter got to get married before the younger one. So he ended up marrying Leah, which he didn't love, and he started to reject her, and some rejection started coming on her kids, and that's what we're looking at. How these things can open doors in families, right? And we can take the life today of three of the kids. We can look at three of the kids today. We can look at Simeon, Levi, and she eventually had a daughter named Dinah. Simeon, Levi, and Dinah. You can read about all her kids, Leah's kids, from like Genesis 29 and 30. They talk about the kids that she got. I can't go through it today because I got some other stuff to cover. I don't want to be on too long. But remember these scriptures what we're talking about. Proverbs 29:15. The rod and rebuke give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame to his mother. We're talking about when children feel rejected, they do things to do things to get attention, which eventually brings shame on the parents, right? And Proverbs 20:11, even children are known by the way they act, whether their conduct is pure and whether their conduct is right, right? So, guys, we're going to jump into it today, man. I was so excited to get back to this story here and see what we could learn from this family. These back in the days was no different from us today. So I'm going to get into it. All right. So, like I said, we're dealing with the life of three of Jacob's children that he had with the wife Leah that he didn't really love. And we're going to see how this rejection and how it play out in these three children life, right? So let's start with the daughter. So this is Genesis 34, 1 through 17. Genesis 34, 1 through 17. Again, start with, right? So one day, Dinah, the daughter of Jacob and Leah, went to visit some of the young women who lived in the area. But when the local prince, Shechem, son of Hamor the Hivite, saw Dinah, he seized her and raped her. But then he fell in love with her, and he tried to win her affection with tender words. He said to his father Hamor, "Get me this young girl, I want to marry her." So first of all, let's start and talk a little bit about this Prince Shechem. Shechem obviously looked like he used to getting what he wants. He saw Dinah. He just gonna rape her, and then he can turn to his father and say, "Get me this young girl." That's how we talking to his father. Man, I wish my son come telling me to get anything. He can get in some problems, but he obviously that's the way he used to getting what he wants. Get me this young girl. I want to marry her after he already raped her, right? No remorse, no nothing. I rape her, now I want her to be my wife, and that's what I'm going to get her to be my wife. That is on you to get her for me, right? Anyhow, so soon Jacob heard that Shechem had defiled his daughter Dinah. But since his sons were out in the field herding his livestock, he said nothing until they returned. Right, so you see, your daughter get raped. You heard about it. You don't do nothing. You say nothing. Your son's in the field. I guess you're hoping, well, oh, their sons don't hear nothing. I can sweep this under the rug. Because remember, this was the daughter of the woman he did not love, right? This was the daughter of the woman he did not love. So men out there, your daughter get raped. that guy better, the police better, he better pray that the police find him before you do, right? But here, Mr. Jacob died get raped. He didn't do nothing. He said nothing, right? Until the son's return. Hamor, Shechem's father, came to discuss the matter with Jacob. Meanwhile, Jacob's sons had come from the field as soon as they heard what had happened. They were shocked and furious that their sister had been raped. Shechem had done a disgraceful thing against Jacob's family, something that should never be done. So Jacob, I ain't here to say Jacob get upset or nothing. I heard it said he said nothing, right? Now his sons them is who furious. His sons them who is mad because daddy not they looking daddy not handling this situation well. Daddy's not upset. He look and this man raped our sister. All right. Hamor tried to speak with Jacob and his sons. My son Shechem is truly in love with your daughter, he said. Please let me marry her. In fact, let's arrange other marriages too. You give us your daughters for your sons, and we will give you our daughters for your sons. And you may live among us. The land is open to you. Settle here and trade with us, and feel free to buy property in this area. So I hear no apology here yet. I hear no apology, man. My son messed up. You raped your daughter. We're sorry for that, but we want to make it up. You love her. You want to marry her. No, he just going and do just what his son said. Get this young girl from me. I want to marry her. So he just talking straight about the marriage. No apology, nothing about this rape, right? Like this raping didn't happen, right? Then Shechem himself spoke to Dinah's father and brothers. Please be kind to me and let me marry her. No apology again. He just going straight. He want to marry her. And be kind to him when you wasn't kind to the young lady. He begged. I will give you whatever you ask. No matter what dowry or gift you demand, I will gladly pay it. Just give me the girl as my wife. He still just want his way. He want what he wants, right? So let's go on and see how this play out. But since Shechem had defiled their sister Dinah, Jacob's sons responded deceitfully to Shechem and his father Hamor. They said to them, we couldn't possibly allow this because you're not circumcised. It would be a disgrace for our sister to marry a man like you. But here's a solution. If every man among you will be circumcised like we are, then we will give you our daughters, and we will take your daughters for ourselves. We will live among you and become one people. But if you don't agree to be circumcised, we'll take her and be on our way. So these guys saw that the father is not doing nothing much. He's not handling the situation properly. So them guys said, okay, let me step in here and we gonna handle this. Since daddy don't want to handle this right, we going to handle this. This is our sister, and she gonna get some we gonna support her because daddy not handling the situation right. He willing to just make a deal with this guy and hand her sister over, and this man did a disgraceful thing to our family. So they said, tell the men, all you guys get circumcised like us, and then we will take it from there, right? So let's see what happened. So all the men in the town council agree with Hamor and Shechem, and every male in the town was circumcised. But 3 days later, when the wounds were still sore, 2 of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, who were Dinah's full brothers, took their swords and entered the town without opposition. Then they slaughtered every male there, including Hamor and his son Shechem. They killed them with their swords, then took Dinah from Shechem's house and returned to the camp. So them guys, Michael McKinnon, good morning. How are you doing today, sir? How are you doing today? Thanks for listening and watching. So these guys tell these guys to get circumcised. And when the 3rd day, when they're in pain from the circumcision, them guys went in, Simeon and Levi, and killed every male in the town. They killed everybody. They said, we can get revenge for our sister. What you did to our sister, you didn't even apologize, nothing. We going to get revenge for our sister. So they went into the town and killed everyone. Meanwhile, the rest of Jacob's sons arrived, finding finding the men slaughtered. They plundered their town because their sister had been defiled there. They seized all the flocks and herds and donkeys, everything they could lay their hands on, both inside the town and outside in the field. They looted all their wealth and plundered their houses. They also took all their little children and wives and led them away as captives. So now these guys have to take matters in their own hands because daddy wasn't handling the situation properly. You could imagine if this was a daughter. Good morning, Renita. Good morning. You could imagine if this was a daughter of Rachel, the woman that he loved. Who know the story of Jacob? You remember how we treated the two children we had with Rachel, Benjamin and Joseph? How that's why the brothers, you're now looking at this, that's why the brothers sell him as a slave, because he shows so clear favorite about but Joseph was his clear favorite. The world could see Joseph was because Joseph was Rachel's child. So he loved her, so he showed more affection, he showed more love, and he was disrespecting these guys. Even the sister who get raped, he willing to sweep it on the rug. He didn't get no upset, he didn't get mad, he didn't get nothing. So these guys had to take matters into their own hands and kill a whole bunch of people, right? You see where this stuff going? Because daddy didn't handle the situation properly. These guys had to take matters into their own hands and to go and kill a whole set of people, take the women and the children as captive and all that, right? So let's see how Mr. Jacob respond to this now. This is Genesis 34:30. Afterwards, Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have ruined me. You made me stink among all the people of this land, among all the Canaanites and Perizzites. We are so few that they will join forces and crush us. I will be ruined and my entire household will be wiped out." Now, your daughter just get raped. You ain't do nothing about it. These guys trying to take matters in their own hand. Were they right to go and kill all these people? I'm not saying that. But because you, daddy, didn't handling the matter properly, because you didn't really love my mother. You'll never love my mother, so you rejecting all of us. Even your daughter who just get raped, and now you telling me I made you stink because I gonna get revenge on the people who rape and defile my sister. Now you're gonna give my sister over to this man who raped her to be his wife. Every time my sister gotta look at this man, she gotta remember the incident where he defiled her, where he raped her, and you didn't want to handle the situation properly. Now you trying to tell me only looking about yourself and what this is gonna look on your image, but you looking at how my sister's messed up right now. Right, so here are the brothers them reply. Let me read it over again. Afterwards, Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have ruined me. You have made me stink among all the people of this land, among all the Canaanites and Perizzites. We are so few that they will join forces and crush us. I'll be ruined and my entire household will be wiped out." So here them guys respond to him. "But why should we let him treat our sister like a prostitute?" They reported angrily. Now they're mad with daddy. Daddy, look, we're grown men now. We ain't playing the game with you. Why should we let this man treat our sister as a prostitute? And you telling me about how your image, you just think looking but yourself? We gonna take care of stuff right now. We're grown now. I'm fed up of you just rejecting us. This man is not going to get away with treating her sister like a prostitute. So I'm trying to say that he didn't handle the situation properly because of the rejection, right? So a lot of times, and you could must imagine, right? Every time he look at these kids and look at the mother, he probably saying, "Man, if it wasn't for her, I would have get the woman that I love earlier. I had to work an additional 7 years just to get because of her." Every time he look at the wife, every time he look at the kids, it reminded him of the 7 years extra he had to work to get the woman he really loved. So that he is fueled and being led by the spirit of rejection for his own wife and kids. And the kids now is fueled by rebellion, guys. So this is a classic example how doors are open. Every time I tell you about these things, I tell you there's got to be an opening. This is an opening here, which none of them realizing and trying to shut it down. None of them realizing this. He being led by the spirit of rejection towards his family, and now these guys being led by the spirit of rebellion. And the Bible says rebellion is a sin as witchcraft. That's what it's make you do. Look how much murders they going to commit here because they in this rebellious mode, right? All because of what a grandfather did. In his selfishness, he said he opened the door to affect his whole family line here now. And guys, you remember, every child out there that's rejected is an individual. That's a generation right there. It's like a seed got a forest in it. That one child it's a whole generation and come from the child. So if you mess that one child up, you messing a whole generation up. That's why they got these generational curses and all of that. This is a simple case of how a door opened here to mess up a couple of generations here right now, right? So this is Simeon and Levi's story, and we're going to see this act, what they do, how Mr. Jacob going to handle it in the future. So we're going to take a next rebellious act by one of the other sons on Wednesday. We can take the life of Reuben and see how he rebelled against his father, what he did to rebel against his father, and this rejection stuff going on. Because I know a lot of people in that situation. I know a lot of people, parents upset with the kid because the father probably had left. So every time they look at the child, it's reminding them of the man that left them, and they start to reject the child, they start to whip the child, they start to put pressure on the child because it's reminding them of your father that left me and just walk out on me. And they start to take it out on the child, not knowing as a human being we are dealing with, guys. So I'm shedding this light. I want people to become conscious. If you in these situations, you become conscious of what you're dealing with. And unlike these guys in this story, you shut it down. Shut it down, forgive, and try to move on, because it's just a cycle of this stuff that's going to keep going on in your generation. And somebody got to get wise. Like God said, the lack of knowledge, we perish because of lack of knowledge. Somebody got to get wise now and shut it down and stop this cycle from going on, right? So that's what this knowledge is going to do. I'm hoping it just open people's eyes. If you in this situation, and you shut it down, be conscious of what's going on and what you're dealing with and what you're being led by, and you shut it down, right, guys? So we're going to look at Simeon's life on Wednesday, and then we're going to look at the conclusion, how Jacob handled all of this on his dying bed. Let's see if he make it up with his kids, or if he make it worse. We can deal with it on Friday. But Wednesday, we can look at Simeon's life. Reuben's life, sorry, right, guys? So I'm going to leave it there today. Have a blessed day, and we'll talk again on Wednesday. Okay, bye.